Hello boys and girls, welcome to Mrs. Bandu's Math Movies. This is Lesson 7-8 for Course 3, Construction. Our objective is to construct congruent angles and parallel lines. Okay, we do have one definition, and that is that of a compass. A compass is a tool used to draw circles and arcs. Looks something like this. Has a pointed end and a end for writing, usually with a pencil. We're going to use the compass and a straight edge. It could be any straight edge. I like to use the straight edge of a protractor, but you can use any straight edge. Constructing, we will use these to draw or construct congruent angles and then parallel lines. So construct angle D congruent to angle A shown at the right. So here we have angle A. I've already worked through a couple of these, but I will repeat the processes here. Okay, so first of all, the first thing we're going to do is draw a ray with endpoint D, and I have that down here. D, take my straight edge, draw a ray. I like to make it a little bit longer, just visually, because I'm just happier that way. It doesn't really matter. You definitely don't want to make it any shorter because you could run into problems that we'll discuss in class a little bit. I'm not going to give you every single little thing I can think of right now. So we're going to go back to our original angle, angle A, and I'm going to just put in my point of my compass at A, and I'm going to draw an arc so that it crosses through both rays. Okay? You want to be careful not to squeeze or readjust your compass, as we're doing this. This intersection is B, this intersection is C. Arbitrary, but that's what I decided to do it. Okay? So that was part C. Put the compass tip at A, draw an arc that intersects the sides of angle A, labeling the points B and C. Next part. Keep the compass open to the same width. So that's why I said don't readjust your compass. And put in the compass tip at D and draw an arc that intersects and label that E. Okay, now what it doesn't tell you is you need to make this arc pretty long. Yes, it does need to intersect here, but you need to make it long enough that it's going to intersect back here, because you're going to have to make that happen. Okay? The idea is you probably want to make it a little bit longer than the arc that you do here to give yourself a little wiggle room. Okay, so there's that, and this is going to be E. So let me label my E. And adjust the compass so that the tip is at B and the pencil is at C. Using this compass opening, okay, well, let me do that first. So the tip is at B and the pencil is at C. So the tip is at B, the pencil is at C. Okay, and you can actually, if you want to, do that little right there. Okay, using this compass opening, put the tip at E. I'm going to go and I'm going to put the tip at E right here and draw an arc to determine point F. So what I want is I want an arc up here. So again, I measured the opening here, and I'm going back and measuring the opening, marking the opening here. This will be point F. And then it says to draw ray DF. So take your straight edge, line up, and what you have just done is you've constructed angle F G E is congruent to angle BAC, or angle D is congruent to angle A. I'm not sure why this is here. I don't think we need it. Really, we just needed these two figures. One that you're measuring off of, the second where you're constructing. Again, hopefully this will at least give you an idea of what we'll be practicing in class. Don't freak out if you didn't quite get it all. It's not that complicated, but it does take a little bit of practice and guidance. Okay, now we want to construct a line parallel to G. So we're given line G, and we want to construct a line parallel to G. Draw a line H that intersects line G. So they've already done that for you, but if you were you would be starting off with something like this. I'm just going to go ahead and do it up here. Okay, so this is all they've done right in here. Label the angle formed angle 1. So I'm going to label that angle 1, which they've done here, and label point B on line H. All right. Construct an angle at B. Okay, so that's where we're actually going to be constructing an angle. Okay, which means I can already tell that I'm going to need to extend this a little bit longer. So I'm going to line it up very carefully. And I'm going to make it a lot longer than I think I need. Okay. What I'm going to do basically is I'm going to construct an angle congruent to angle 1, because remember, a transversal, the corresponding angles created by transversals of parallel lines are congruent. And that's the idea that I'm using here. So I'm going to construct a second angle at B congruent to angle 1. So I'm just going to basically repeat the process that I've already done. At A, I'm going to squeeze that a little smaller. I'm going to, and this was the equivalent of point A, okay, that's going to give me the measurement I can use. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to go to point B, and I'm going to draw, with that same setting, an arc that crosses through that ray that I just drew, and then this visual, longer than I really think it needs to be, so I don't have to go back and retry. So now I have this arc copied here, and now I want to measure the opening of this angle. So I'm going to put my point and my pencil, each at a different point on the existing angle. Okay, and I'm going to adjust my compass and then go over here and do that. Make my mark for my second ray of my angle. And I'm going to take and, using my straight edge, connect vertex B with this new point that I just made, which in your directions is E. And now I'm also going to extend and make this a line, because it did say make a line. So now I have line EB, which is parallel to line G. And my drawing up here, you can see that as well. If you wanted to double check yourself, you could measure these angles. Okay. So basically, if you can construct a congruent angle, you can then construct a parallel line to a given line as well by using the definition of corresponding angles. We're going to implement that. Alright, here are a couple for you to practice. Hopefully you have the tools at home. They were on your supply list at the beginning of the year, and hopefully you do have them. If not, we will be practicing these in class to some degree, so come ready to learn. See you soon. Bye now.